years from now, we want Plop to be, to be a category leader within the media and entertainment space.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 8. My name is Sanjay Chakrabarti. I'm the founder of Tag8. Starting a business gives you an immense satisfaction. Something that comes close to that level of satisfaction is seeing one of your team members go out and start a successful business. The guest today has done just that. When we at Tag8 started a business, he was a CTO. So it's even more fulfilling to see him come onto the show right now as the owner of Plop Stories, which is one of the leading interactive storytelling apps. You will hear more about it. Vineet Shetty, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for inviting me.
So Vineet, we'll get into the first segment straight away. Who is Vineet Shetty? And that's your one breath question.
Yeah. So Vineet, I primarily am a software engineer. I was in Ernst & Young in the cybersecurity practice for close to 3 years after doing my engineering, and then went on to do my MBA from ISB Hyderabad. Went on to do a couple of startups. One of the startups was Foodniti, where we kind of helped other NGOs with tech-related solutions for their problems, and through hackathons. So that was one of the startups that I ran for a while. And then, of course, we met, and I kind of helped Tag8 in their initial, you can say, structuring of the entire tech solution and the product itself. So yeah, we had a lot of brainstorming sessions on that. Then went on to start a company called Plop Stories, which is what I'm currently doing. So that, at a more personal level, I think I am I'm an eternal learner. So I love thinking about solutions, thinking about problems from a very deep level, breaking down problems into very small individual components and figuring out solutions. So I love talking to different people on their ideas, to the extent that some of them actually get irritated as well. But that's another story. But then, I love thinking about problems and then figuring out, let's say, a technology solution for that particular problem. So that's personally who I am. Again, I'm a very, as all engineers, I'm a very shy, introverted guy. And I'm trying to get out of my shell, because as an entrepreneur, you need to be out there talking to a lot of people. So yeah, that's who I am.
Outstanding. I love the candidness with which you've come through, which is so like you. Let me get to the second question. Tell us something about Plop Stories. Again, it's a one-word question.
Okay. So Plop Stories is an interactive and immersive storytelling platform. So it's available on the App Store as well as the Play Store. It's primarily an app. It's a new format of storytelling, in the sense that traditionally you had long form content which had a lot of narration. A lot of the story setting is kind of important in the long form content book. What we do at Plop is convert these stories or have new stories in a conversational format. So it's like reading the script of a movie, or let's say script of a play, and through that conversations you can kind of imagine the story. Again, we include a lot of interactive and immersive elements within the story itself. So for example, let's say it's a kidnapping scene within a story. So instead of writing a long prose that the kidnapper called you and he asked for a 1 million ransom, you actually get a call on the app itself, and you can pick up that call, which could be an audio call or a video call. And after you pick up that call, you can actually see the kidnapper on the other side, and he asks you for a ransom. So it's including these interactive, immersive elements within the story to make the entire experience better. And we believe a lot of readers will kind of pick this up, especially because, I mean, today people don't generally pick up fictional books anymore. So non-fiction as a category is kind of increasing year on year, but fictional books as a category in itself is kind of decreasing. So we thought of what we could do to kind of improve that. And this is one of the elements that we came up with, which is including audiovisual components. We wish also you can take like decisions within the story. So for, let's say if you take a certain decision, the story moves in a different direction. So all of these elements is what we include in the story. Also, I mean, we want to eventually get into AR, VR, which is like the next generation methods through which I think where storytelling will kind of eventually move on to. So that is what we do at Block.
And that sounds interesting. Hopefully, that will make some people like me also getting into fictional, because I haven't read a fictional book in ages. So, I would love
absolutely. So the idea is to kind of increase the user base, people who actually don't read fictional stories, to actually engage them and immerse them within the experience, so that they don't feel like reading a book. Like the format itself is like a WhatsApp story. So you consume so much content on WhatsApp itself that you don't even realize. So the format is built in such a way that you don't even think that you're reading a story and you get engrossed within the story. That's what we are aiming for.
Outstanding. So Vineet, so what's been your learning across the board?
Okay. So one of the things I think as an entrepreneur, while starting a business, generally, I mean, if you're talking about investors, they typically look at the market and then of course the team. So it's very important for you to figure out if you're the right fit, or if you have some entrepreneurial traits. Of course, you can develop it while you're doing your startup. But if you have some of those qualities, then of course it kind of enhances your chances of, let's say, running a successful startup, or let's say even getting funded, if that is a metric that you want to actually capture. Some of the learnings through the journey has been, you have to be extremely stoic. As you mentioned, there are a lot of failures that I have had within my earlier startups. There are a lot of highs and lows within a single day itself. In the morning you wake up, you might get an investor call who kind of needs some metrics, is not happy with some metrics, and you go down. And then you might get a call from Sequoia saying, we want to have a call with you, and that's an inbound call. So suddenly by 12 o'clock, you're extremely happy. So within a day itself, there are so many highs and lows that you managing your own emotions actually becomes a huge challenge. And over time, you kind of get used to it because it happens almost on a daily basis. I think, so you need not be bogged down by the challenges of entrepreneurship. And I think even the victories that you have, you can't really, stay on it. So you have to continuously, within these highs and lows, hopefully you're going up and, you're doing a good job. So over time, you kind of keep doing what you're doing and improve. Again, most of the focus on entrepreneurship is also on very, like, you got funding. So, you suddenly have become very famous. People feel that, okay, you've raised 2 million funding. So, now everything is fine. But they don't actually see the 2 years, 3 years work going behind. So I think that is also extremely important, if not, the most important piece. How do you keep moving on a day-to-day basis? Do small activities on a day-to-day basis, again, because it's not very sexy. It's not very, it doesn't have that kind of flair, right? So people tend to ignore that. They think entrepreneurship is all about a funding raise, you get 100,000 users, you get 1 million downloads, and that's it, and then you say, okay, I have struggled so much and things like that. These small things you need to keep doing. And this is, I think, this is the thing that most entrepreneurs do not talk about. Most people do not understand that there are these smaller everyday things that you need to do. Right. I think that has been, that could be one learning. The other could be that, the other that I personally am not very good at, and that I'm trying to kind of move towards it, is stakeholder management. So I am an engineer. So I tend to, whenever I think of solutions, whenever I think of entrepreneurship, like most engineers, I tend to think about products. Product. If the product is good, people will come. Or if let's build a great product and then push it out to people. I think stakeholder management, because again, a product can be built by anyone, right? I mean, so it's very important to manage your, let's say, investors, manage your employees. I think that's the most critical element within entrepreneurship, which again, being an introvert, doesn't come very naturally to me. So I think I have worked towards it. I have a long way to go, but then, yeah, that I think is especially for engineers, especially for introverts, for shy people, I think that is something that they need to work on a daily basis.
Right. So, Vineet, I must tell you that from the time that we've met for the first time to what I see today, I think now to say that you are an introvert will be quite a stretched piece. So I'm really glad that you've come a long way on that side. But with that, let me get to the next question really. And you alluded in a way to it, but is there a specific habit of yours that has really helped you in your business?
So I remember, I mean, I keep this habit, and this is, I think, one of the most crucial habits that I have inculcated. In fact, it has come from EY, my experience with EY. The first day I was in EY, one of my managers actually told me, I mean, he was one of, I mean, as all EY guys are, there's a lot of eccentricity, but then he kind of, so you generally get a pen, you get a book, all of these things with on your first joining date, right? So the first meeting, I just walked in and he was like, boss, you have got all of these things. Why do you think you have got all of these things? You have to bring it in and actually make a to-do list. It's very important to note down what I'm saying or what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. From that day onwards, I have always maintained the to-do list. And I think as an entrepreneur, it has only helped me. Because, I mean, as an entrepreneur, there's so many challenges. Like, you know, on a day-to-day basis, one, you have to look at a product, then digital marketing, then suddenly an investor calls you, he needs some stats. Then, you know, somebody in your team is leaving, so you have to manage that. You have to hire someone. Then there is a PR management, which is an external party, let's say. So, I mean, there's so many things that if you don't maintain that list, what happens is you keep thinking about, acha, ye bhi karna hai, you know, this is also remaining, this is also pending. And with that, what happens is your efficiency kind of reduces. So maintaining a to-do list, I feel, is the greatest hack that I've had. So I primarily maintain like 2 lists. So one is a list of all activities, anything that comes in goes into that list. And then on a day-to-day basis, within that list, I pick up a set of activities to be done, to be finished within that day. So again, psychologically, again, there are some studies which are conducted where they say, you have to maintain this list and pick up the least effort list, the thing which takes the least effort first, and finish that. What happens is when you make that tick mark within that entry, you suddenly feel confident that you're filling up all these activities. And also you can see your target. You know, you have to finish 8 things. I finished 6 of this today. So, I mean, you can actually see how well you're progressing. It is a very difficult task to do. Most people are not able to do it, although it may seem very simple. But I think it helps you to manage these smaller phases on a day-to-day basis, and eventually in like 6 months' time, you will not even realize that you have moved so far.
Yeah. So Vineet, let me get to the last segment. Is really again a one breath. And where do you see Flop Stories in 8 months, and where do you see Flop Stories in 8 years?
So 8 months, I believe, is a very short period. So primarily, within like 8 months, we are looking to, let's say, double or triple our metrics. So primary metrics like monthly active users, all of these things. We're primarily focused on ensuring that there are product features integrated which improve our retention. So currently, we have a lot of users coming in, but if we can improve our retention, the top of the funnel kind of increases, and then downstream, you can kind of manage those users. So that is our very immediate goal. It's very, very clear in that sense. 8 years from now, we want Flop to be, to be a category leader within the media and entertainment space. In fact, have a lot of products in itself within the media and entertainment space, maybe catering to the film industry, because we have a lot of, let's say, script-like stories. So we can kind of, that can be easily produced by a media house. Or get into AR, VR when it becomes more mainstream. So today, the challenge is, although AR, VR is there's a lot of battery consumption and all of those, challenges within AR, VR. But once that becomes mainstream, we already have a repository of a lot of stories. I think that is the next leap in storytelling, in, let's say, even movie consumption in that matter, for that matter. So get into all of those aspects and really make a name in the media and entertainment space. Also, we are primarily a global company. So we don't have a lot of users from India. We, in fact, have almost 50% of our users coming from the US. So to build one of the first, probably, Indian startups in the global ecosystem, it is difficult because, there are not a lot of people that we can go back to and seek feedback from, at least in the Indian ecosystem. But that would be a great goal to kind of achieve.
Outstanding. That sounds really exciting. I'm really happy for you, Vineet. Thanks for coming in, and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you, Sanjay, for inviting me for this.